I'm done for the day. That's another 13-hour day. That's long enough for me. I just finished welding the floor in our crew cab Dodge, and I don't like to leave the shop right after I'm done welding and grinding, because there's places for sparks to go and sparks lead the fire. So I figured I'd give you everybody my 2 cents on the Volkswagen scandal. If the truck goes up on flames, at least we'll have it on camera. So Volkswagen, they cheated on their emissions test. Oh no. What does it mean? Well, here in Ontario, we no longer have a dyno test. We have an OB3 test for gasoline engines, which means that if the engine light is on, then you do not pass the emission test. Diesels in Ontario still do a sniffer test, light duty diesel. Now the official test, as far as I know, I don't know if there's a sniffer that goes in. When emission test came out, all that it was a piece of paper, and it has a circle drawn on it, and you hold it a certain distance away from the tailpipe. You get the operator to tromp on the throttle, and if the suit went outside the circle, it failed the E-test. What a joke. I had my heavy duty emission testing license for heavy trucks. That's long since passed away. I let that lapse because I quit the shop and I have no interest in the emissions test. Now, Volkswagen, what does it mean? Well, on the dyno, when it sees a certain speed and a monitor, it goes into a more or less of a limp mode. So it puts less diesel into the engine, essentially making it more gutless. Now, everything that has come out on the market is more, faster, more power. So you have to stay competitive. But to stay competitive, you also have to stay within the rules, except the rules keep changing. Now let's take it back a notch. This is 2015. Let's take it back to 1960, 70, 80, and right up to the mid-90s. 305s and 350s of the Fords and the 318s and the Dodges, they were common. They were in everything. Vans, cars, trucks, everything. And they were around for a very long time, and when they break, they go to a scrapyard and you go get another one. Very bad for the economy. They want you to buy a new one. So emissions comes out, everybody's going green. Are we really going green? The thing is, every year the emission laws get tighter. What does that do to manufacturers like Volkswagen, GM, Dodge, Ford? Take it up another notch, Peterbilt. Cummins, Detroit, Caterpillar and heavy duty, John Deere, Case and the on-road equipment. What it means is every year they need to redesign their engine to produce more horsepower to stay competitive with everybody else and what the people want, but they have to meet brand new laws again. More power, less emissions. Can't have it. There's only so much energy in a molecule of fuel, and you can make an engine efficient to make it run clean, but there's only so much power you can get out of it. Plain and simple, you have to burn fuel to get power. Now we're getting better at making more efficient engines, that's great, but Caterpillar stopped making engines for big rigs because they were spending more money on R&D to try and keep up with the laws than what they were able to bring in. So, the patents for engines and vehicles don't last as long as a normal patent. So like the patent on my tape boss is 20 years, the patents on engines I think is only 2 or 3 or 5 years, something like that. So they let Detroit and Cummins do all the R&D, and then they just bought an engine, copied it, and went on their own. They're back to making engines again, and I think they're making transport trucks now too. So John Deere also came up with a new way to save emissions and toxins, and that's by putting an afterburner in the exhaust. I don't know if John Deere did it or not, but they're the first one off-road to utilize an afterburner. Afterburner is in the muffler and it burns at 1200 degrees I think, and pretty much vaporizes all the toxins that are coming out of the engine so that there's zero emissions left. Now that's great, other than the fact that combines work in dust bowls, and dust bowls catch fire. It's enough of a mix of air and chaff that it easily catches fire. Now you've got a 1200 degree muffler burning, just waiting to ignite. So they're saving emissions by putting this afterburner in. Wonderful. Now the combine catches fire because it's too hot, and one combine burning will put out more emissions than every combine running an afterburner. So is it really a good idea? Probably not. And we come up with these stupid ideas that cost nothing but money. Afterburners are not cheap. Now if your turbo goes, you dump oil into your exhaust. Now you got the cost of a turbo, plus you get to put a new afterburner in because the computer says if it's not working right, you're not running your combine. Well, there goes the whole season, and by the time you get those repairs done, and you're honestly out 25 grand between a turbo and an afterburner and all your DEF crap, whatever else is on there. Are we saving the environment? Absolutely not. But what should you do with your Volkswagen? Well, when it went on that dyno test, it went into a limp mode. What that meant is that it burnt less fuel. It told the computer to put less fuel in the engine. Less fuel means less exhaust, also means less power. They can get each one of those engines to pass the E-test, but when you leave the dealership, you're going to have a gutless piece of crap. It'll be amazing on fuel, but you're going to say, whoa, what a dog. I can't even get onto the freeway without needing 10 kilometers to get up to speed. So, should you get rid of your Volkswagen? Well, you're probably going to get a deal from Volkswagen. They admitted that they were wrong, they admitted that they cheated, and there will be some compensation. What that compensation is, we don't know yet. We got to wait. So I think if you're going to ditch your car now, you're probably going to lose out on whatever the compensation that is. Are you killing the environment? Absolutely not. Your Volkswagen is still more efficient and more better for the environment than any car that was built in the 60s with no cats and whatever else. So up to 40 times, yeah, definitely. If you tromp on that throttle and you want to pass somebody, yeah, you'll probably see a little piece of black smoke coming out the tailpipe, and that's unburnt fuel. If you forget to shut your car off for 5 minutes in the garage, is it going to kill everything in the garage? No, it's not. Now they're getting fined they're talking up to $37,500 per vehicle, and I don't know if that's true or not. It was just a number that I read on the internet. And for every vehicle that was sold that was cheating on the emission test, it works out to about $8 billion in the US. Now, Volkswagen is worth 80-90 billion, something like that. It dropped about 30 billion since the news came out. But who gets this $8 billion in fines? Is it you and me that are breathing this dirty air from Volkswagen, or is it just the government? Well, I'll tell you what, us driving some Volkswagens around here with a little that are cheating on an emission test is not going to save the environment. It's not going to do anything other than put the biggest automaker out of business. Hundreds of thousands of jobs are going to be lost. Salespeople are hurting right now because nobody wants to buy a Volkswagen anymore. Boo-hoo, I got cheated. And I feel bad for those people because they had nothing to do with this. The company that does the emission test, I think, warned Volkswagen, and the Volkswagen didn't change anything because they probably would have had to stop making diesel engines altogether. And I'm pretty sure they make the ones for the Audis too. So now we've got $8 billion. Are we going to get this money? No. Who is going to get that money? Is that just going to go to the government and grease their pockets and pay their salaries and their pensions? I don't know. But here's my two thoughts. If we want to do anything for the environment, and this goes back to also to the trucks and the big cars, and I got a 67 GTO sitting in the shop there, a 400 big block. It's definitely not good for the environment. It will be a lot worse than the Volkswagen ever was. Is it going to destroy the earth for the people, the kids coming in? Probably not. I'm not going to drive it every day. I'm going to have some fun with it and then probably sell it again. Somebody else can enjoy it. That's besides the point. If you're driving a daily driver, anything that says SRT8 on the side, or a Mustang, or a Cobra, or a Corvette, or Stingray, and you're burning 20 liters per 100 kilometers, 30 liters per 100 kilometers when you step on it, you think you're better than the Volkswagen guys? You can give your head a shake there too. It's not only the fuel that you're burning, it's also the processing that happens in the meantime. It's the trucks bringing the fuel to the gas stations. If we cut out all our gas down to half, then the world will be a lot cleaner place. Is it going to happen? No. The government has no problem putting 8-liter GM truck engines, V10 Fords, V10 Dodge pickup truck engines that are burning crazy amounts of fuel because they get their tax money on all the fuel that you have to buy. If they all made fuel efficient engines, the government would take a huge hit in the taxes that they make on fuel. So if you ride your bike, I commend you for that. That's awesome. If you're driving electric, good for you. I don't know if that's the answer. I really think hydrogen's the answer. But for now, I'm still a diesel guy. That's why I put the Cummins in the Tahoe, and I'm getting just about double what I would have got out of the 5.3 liter that was in there mileage wise. Getting 950 to 1,000 clicks to a tank, and loving every minute of it. If I tromp on it, you will see a tiny puff of black smoke coming out. Is that going to kill all the grass by the side of the road? No, I don't think so. But now this $8 billion, if we want to do some real good, fine Volkswagen. They did break the rules. They knew they broke the rules. If there was fines set in place for that, there's no reason why they shouldn't fine them. But I think that money could go to a lot better uses. Now, I've gone to Burkina Faso a couple times, and I've done a lot of work there, teaching mechanics over there to a school called the Village of Hope. And when you get off that plane, I'm good with fumes. I can handle the fumes fairly well. My eyes are just watering off the plane. When we landed in Ouagadougou, you can just taste the pollution in your air. And after hanging out there for a while, garbage day is when the wind is right, you shove it to the side of the house or the side of the city and you light it on fire. Let the next guy worry about it. They have rainy seasons in September where it just pours for about a month, or late August, September, it pours. All the garbage is laying in the streets. It's funny because when we go, it's desert time, but you see all these Toyotas and Land Rovers with snorkels out the window, and that's because the ground is so dry, all the water doesn't have a chance to penetrate the ground, but just flows downhill. It takes all the garbage with it, and all that garbage just ends up downstream. This is their normal. They don't know better. They don't have recycling trucks. They don't have garbage trucks. So to them, recycling is as absurd as us taking our garbage and burning it. Now, if we think that fining Volkswagen $8 billion because their vehicles don't pass emission tests and somehow we're saving the world, we're not. But if we can take that money and even sponsor a kid overseas, we sponsor a couple kids, it's a great feeling, and knowing that they're going to school and they're getting educated, not only in 2+2 and English and whatever else, but also in things like preserving the earth, and they can take this home to their families and say, no, we shouldn't burn our garbage. That's toxic stuff. That's really going to cut down on our life expectancy and our kids, and we can do a lot of good. So $30 a month, and one more person knows that what they're doing is not beneficial to the earth. Now, we've got so many laws in North America. I worked in construction. I started a construction company when I was younger because I wanted to build my house. I did construction for a while, and I gotta tell you, it is getting out of hand. I watched a video, fall arrest, on how to set up a ladder, and if we followed every rule on their safety standards, it would take me about an hour to set up a ladder, and I would be surprised if I'm even allowed to climb it after I'm done setting it up. And it's like that in all the jobs where we're so overboard with our safety and with our emissions that it's impossible to make any money anymore. So instead, they send it to countries that have a lot more lax laws in the safety and the emissions, buildings that aren't safe, and it's the exact opposite of the extreme. We need to find a happy medium somewhere, where Asia is putting out so much pollution from industry that they had to shut the industry down 2 weeks before the Olympics so that the cameras could actually see what was going on through the fog. And we think everything's all fine and dandy, we're saving the world over here. It doesn't matter. It's the other end of the world is doing 10 times more pollution than, or 100 times more pollution. But I can't even say the number because I can't even imagine how gross it is breathing that air, and just reminded of Burkina and imagining what it is in Asia. So go ahead, fine Volkswagen, whatever, they deserve it, but where that money goes, I think if we want to do something for the environment, we need to look outside of our own country and start educating. In the meantime, for 30 bucks a month, you can feed somebody, clothe somebody, and educate them so that they know how to take care of the world in the next 50 years as well. Now, along with these lines, all these guys, I was just at a farmer the other day, and his son asked me to turn up his aneroid valve or turn it down, whatever, so he could blow some smoke. Well, guys, I'm gonna say this again, and I made it clear before too when I was tuning the Tahoe, that stop rolling coal. It is idiotic, and Volkswagen is gonna get charged with $8 billion in fines. You guys are gonna make it so hard for us to run diesels if you keep blowing black smoke out, that these environmentalists are gonna take it more and more serious, and they are going to crack down on everybody. So not only will you lose your truck, but I'm probably going to lose mine too, now that all of a sudden diesels are the end of the world. Turn that aneroid back up again and tune it properly. All you're doing is putting unburnt fuel out your exhaust, and you're washing your pistons and going to destroy your engine. Just leave it alone, guys. And on top of that, I know emission laws are different in every province and state, but I know a guy that got yanked all his emission stuff off, and he deleted his truck. There we go. Got pulled over, $8,000 in fine. Took it to court, $3,500 they dropped it to. But now he gets to put all his stuff back on again. And once you get caught, the cops and the MTO and whoever else, the environmental police and the tree huggers, will keep an eye out for you, and you will be the first one to get pulled over again. So keep that in mind, guys. You're going to buy an $80,000 truck, you're going to have to put up with that emission stuff or pay another $8 grand. But stop it with the rolling coal. It's not funny, and it's stupid. It's a waste of fuel, and you're destroying your engine. So there's my 2 cents. Volkswagen, I'm sorry you got caught. I think you still make decent cars. I like your 12-year rest warranty, and I would buy a car if I wasn't a big GM guy and I only pay a couple grand for cars. But yeah, thanks guys. I don't think the Dodge is on fire, so I'm gonna have supper, and I got a meeting tonight, and then back at it again tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. So follow a variety of projects that include conversions and repairs to anything from Ferraris to chainsaws. And check out the Tape Boss, my newest invention that's coming to market. And remember, if you're not filthy, you're not rich.